Good morning, family. Welcome to Morning Manna. Pastor Kenneth Riolan here, the proud pastor, the Paramount Baptist Church, 3924 4th Street, Southeast Washington, D.C., otherwise known as The Mount. Hope you're doing well today. For a few moments, as we share in Morning Manna, I want to talk from the thought, encourage yourself. So, can I be honest? I'm sick of talking about Corona. I'm tired of seeing it on TV. I'm tired of talking about it with friends. I'm tired of seeing it online. I am tired. It is a reality. It's everywhere. It's a part of our daily routine at this point, but it is on my nerves. Nevertheless, it is cramping my style, our styles, and sometimes saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, fire baptized. Sometimes we find ourselves in the doldrums. We find ourselves down. I don't like the word depressed, but it's real. Sometimes we just don't feel good. And in the normal way of life, maybe you go to the driving range and hit some balls and feel better, or maybe you go to your favorite restaurant and eat a meal that makes you feel better, or maybe you get a chance to go by your best friend's house and hang out for a little while. There's a routine, or there are things that can spruce up our attitude and how we feel. But in this season, that's not really afforded to many of us. Many of us are homebound. Let me pause and say this: stay home. Best thing we can do to fight this coronavirus and to get on the other side of it, because we will get on the other side, but we'll do that more rapidly if we stay at home. Nevertheless, wherever you draw strength, wherever you draw energy, maybe you're not able to access that in this season. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, the book of 1 Samuel chapter 30 teaches us what you do in difficult times. Our friend David says that he's learned how to handle difficult situations. The text is very familiar to many of us. David is fresh off of a victory as the warrior that he was. People are singing his praises. Saul has killed his thousands, but David has killed his tens of thousands. There's been victory, and on his way back to Ziklag, the text says that when they get there, all of the wives, all of the women and children have been taken by his enemies. The city has been burned down. And while they were gone, the enemy showed up. In the midst of that, the people that he was hanging with, the people that he just had victory with, are now talking about stoning him. What do you do when things were going so well and they went so wrong? What happens when you were having a crest upward and now all of a sudden there's an immediate downward spiral? What happens when you all were getting along so well and now you're barely speaking to one another? What happens when you had a little wham in your pocket, walk around money, and now you can barely get two nickels together to rub together and to make it? I'm talking about, what do you do in difficult times? What happens when you're separated from your loved ones? Well, I came to tell somebody today, you got to learn how to encourage yourself. Listen, maybe the people that you normally count on aren't around, and maybe you can't touch the ones that would normally give you a boost, and maybe you just don't feel like talking to anybody. Maybe there's nobody calling you, maybe there's nobody tweeting you, maybe there's nobody texting you. Well, can I tell you what David did? The Bible said he encouraged himself in the Lord. I'm done, y'all, but can I say that you got to dig down deep and start to realize what you need to be thinking about. We need to be thinking about things above and not beneath. We need to be thinking about eternal things and not temporal things. And we need to be thinking on the Lord and not on this world. We may be in this world, but we're not of this world. We need to think about how good God has been. We need to think about the breath that's currently running through our body. We need to think about the blood that's running warm. We need to think about whatever activity of limbs we have. We need to think about being clothed somewhat in our right minds. We need to think about the connections that we do have. Listen, you got to learn how to encourage yourself in the Lord. Maybe pastor can encourage you. Maybe mama, daddy, grandmama, uncle, aunt, friend can. But when nobody else is there, you better learn how to encourage yourself. You can't stay down in the dumps. You can't stay in the doldrums. You can't allow yourself to remain depressed. You've got to learn how to encourage yourself in the Lord. It may be bad, but it's been worse. And even if it hasn't been worse, it could be worse. And so we got to focus on the good things while we can. I'm done preaching, y'all. But I want you to encourage yourself. I told y'all before, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. In times like these, I call on James Cleveland. This too will pass. Hey, I'm done with that, but I do want to throw this by you. I was watching this morning on the news. A guy was talking about meditation, and I'm not a big meditation guy, but I don't have a problem with it. I think if we read the text, we'll find Jesus spent some time in the wilderness praying and meditating. It's not a bad thing. We just don't understand it, and anything we don't understand, we vilify. Nevertheless, here's what he did talk about. He talked about the importance of breathing. He talked about breathing in for 4 and breathing out for more. Seems silly, but when you feel anxious, when you feel uptight, breathe. Just breathe. The gift of breath. The gift, don't you know that in the New Testament it's called pneuma, the Spirit of God, the breath of God? When you feel uptight and anxious, take in the breath that we were blessed to be able to have. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hey, Paramount, listen, we're trying to stay connected. Make sure you're reaching out to someone, you're calling someone, you're checking on someone. Circle captains, make sure you're getting in touch with your circles. Deacons, I know you're on your job. I heard many of you are calling for your list so that you can help the circle presidents. Let's make sure we're loving on each other. We're checking on each other. We're protecting each other. Remember, we'll be on broadcast this coming Sunday, 10 a.m. Looking forward to sharing a word with the people of God. Got a surprise for you this coming Sunday. Can't wait to share that. I pray all are as well as they can be, and know that your church family, the Mount, is here for you. We love you with the love of Christ. Peace and blessings. Remember, we are one.